What is going on, everybody? Dr. Doujinshi is back. Now, to start the video off, before we get into anything, I'd like to not necessarily excuse my absence, but I would like to explain it a little. My brother, the creator of this channel, has been a little overwhelmed at the moment. Not exactly having high self-esteem, and going through a few things that he's made apparent very clear. And I would like to say thank you everybody that put up with his sob story videos, with his not exactly the best mental state. And I would very much like to thank everybody who stuck around, or even the people that came. Thank you. And now, so I don't make this video into another sob story, let's get going. Intro to the next part. Sometimes a man has to come back, and no better way to come back than to revisit a classic. Now, in the time that I was gone, 2 new episodes were made, as you can see by the title. Now, let me go ahead and bring it back up, because I don't have the best understanding, and getting back into the swing of things takes the trusted notebook. Youkosu, Sukebe no Mori, episodes 3 and 4. Now, previously I did the episode 1 and episode 2 in their own separate video, which you can watch in the playlist that I've been working to get going just a little bit better. Personally, I enjoyed them for their vanilla aspects, and I very much, I think I rated them a little harshly, in saying they were mid, around 5 out of 10. Now that being said, the 3rd and 4th episode are very much a continuation, but they're also the epilogue, so to say. So, let's get started. Originally made by Bunny Walker, episode 3 is 16 minutes and 26 seconds long, of which case the last 2 minutes are the credits, so I'll let you know there. The 4th episode is in a similar time frame, almost down to the 2nd being 16 minutes and 24 seconds, just a hair bit shorter, with the last 2 minutes also being the credits. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is the 3rd episode has 14 categories, so it's varied, but a lot of the ones that are in it are what you've accepted as your stock standard vanilla options, although vanilla, oddly enough, isn't one of them. The 4th one is very much so a continuation, so to say, meaning that it has very similar properties, being just about the exact same ones, except for a few in one way or the other. I, personally, as you can see by the ability to crusade waywardly, as everybody should, am drawn to a few different things. First of all, the crusading bit is for fantasy. Fantasy, I absolutely fucking love. I love this genre. I need more of it in my veins, in my blood. Thank you very much. I could use even more of it. Harem is the satisfying the man aspect of me. Whole bunch of girls, spoiled for choice. Chef's kiss. Love that. Another thing, dark skin. Under this, I am white, as you can tell. So that means everything that's not white is so much better looking to me. That may come off as a little weird, but fuck you. They're called fetishes, and I can have them if I want. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. The plot of the third episode goes as is. The villain from the previous episode, a short-haired one that goes along the lines of blonde that goes into a different color, you'll be able to see her if you've seen the video, goes in to try to sneak in to, say, either get revenge or get laid. Always one of the two. She is then captured for sneaking into enemy territory, and she gets her wish. She gets laid, but then she also gets sent to jail, of which case she gets laid again. And has a fan-fucking-tastic time doing it. And then once that happens, the scene ends with the main character getting laid twice. Jesus Christ, they're starting out on a high note in 2 minutes. The next one, the second villain comes in a way to free the first villain from her jailing, even though I don't think she's having the worst of times. Second villain being the much darker-skinned, long, purple-haired character that shows up and tries to, let's just say, make the man submit. She challenges the village elder, a stereotypical anime, 7,000-year-old lolly. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but it's in there. If you like that, you like that. Not going to judge. They're just drawings. Alright, but that's also a character that's in it. She shows up and decides to have, quote-unquote, a sex off. That leads into the guy not having good rules. I just want to say that. When they participate in the Smexy competition, they don't set any rules. They just kind of go from one thing to the next, and they don't say shit about it. They're like, alright, you're going to have sex with both of us. So what's the defining way that one of us is going to win? You're going to do it, and you're going to like it. Alright, cool, I guess. But, nonetheless, after the 7,000-year-old elf goes in there and decides, I'm going to amp up my game. She goes from her short stature to increasing her size, in which case she is now fat. She then gets it on with character, and then afterwards he then moves on to the dark elf that is trying to get her second in command back. They both go together. It kind of gets into a little bit of a haze. It's kind of hard to tell what happens because of how the editing works in it. In which case, I didn't follow all that well, and I've seen it 2 or 3 times now. But somehow it ends with the quote good elves, even though the bad elves don't really do all that much. Let's make themselves the bad guys. The quote unquote good elves somehow win. Weird, but okay, I guess that's just how it works now. They win, they sign a peace treaty, and it ends with the guy essentially starting his harem, totally. The dark elves that were his enemies then moved in with him, so now he has a full harem to go with it. Along with people that already lived with him that were part of the harem already. Now let's get into the ratings for the 3rd episode before I move on to the 4th, because we are already at the 8, almost 9 minute mark, and I would like to get this well done and set this up so I can get it to you guys as fast as possible. The animation, I'd say serviceable at best, but it's not very dynamic. It definitely deals a lot with moving to different shots without any full dynamic movement. They never reduce quality to show further movement. It's always good quality drawings with low quality movement. Like I said, not very dynamic, but there are a lot of interesting shots that they go with. Overall, 5 out of 10. If they had more dynamic movement, then they would have a higher score, or they could do a lot faster editing to kind of show the movement of the actual everything that's going on. 5 out of 10. It is middle of the road. Not great, but not bad. Yeah, still decent. Now, the characters, they're decent and distinct. I honestly remembered every single one of them as they were introduced, and I haven't even seen the first 2 episodes in, 3 months now? Like I said, I've been on a little bit of a break. Keeping your family members going is hard. If any of you have done it, my heart goes out to you. But the the designs and distinct personalities, overall 7 out of 10. Some of them do have repeat elements, but I'm gonna say that's mostly for a small budget. This is a hentai we're talking about. They're not exactly the most across the board, everybody gets a design. Fine. Maybe there was source material they were adapting from, who knows. Some of these are from light novels, some of these get adapted from actual doujins, and sometimes you just gotta make stuff up on the fly. Now, the content, what you're here for, is good quality. Good quality, but nothing too special, I'd like to say. Hey, it's pretty basic. A lot of, even though it does have 14 categories, which should signify it, it's a lot of the stuff that easily blends together if you have more than one character. If you have a diverse understanding of what characters look like, and you have, I thought my hand was bleeding for a second. If you have a diverse set of characters, and they have more than one skin tone, then that's like 5 categories altogether. Now they're right there. If you don't just do missionary with every single one of them, then you kind of build up a lot to it. Overall, 6 out of 10, but a recommendation nonetheless. Let me get that. The content is a 6 out of 10. The overall would average out to a 6 out of 10. I would definitely recommend it because even though it is fairly middle of the road, it's just so simple that you can't help but like it. There's so little to it that you just gotta love it. Now, let's go ahead and get to the next one and see if we can wrap this up before the 18-minute mark. Now, plot for the episode number 4 of what I'm assuming is the final episode, given the fact that there really isn't anywhere to go from here. There's no further conflicts unless you just want to, because this is a very much an epilogue to what's going on. So, let's get going. A little hard. Okay. Starts off with the first elf ever introduced, a blonde, somewhat curvaceous elf who we meet in the very beginning of it, in a nurse outfit, and they go straight into it. There is no warm-up. This is raw and dry, into it immediately. Hey, they know this is an epilogue, and they know this is a harem. They're getting every penny of every person they're going in immediately. It is not going to take long. Now, after that, they kind of like in the middle of the scene, they're recapping the events of the last episode, if not all 3 episodes that came before it, which is admirable that you do it in such a weird scenario, because I don't know if that's a boner killer for a lot of people, but it sure does get the point across. They at least know you're paying attention. Now, after that, the friendly dark elf comes over in a maid outfit. Which one is that? The shorter-haired one that goes from blonde to purple hair that has a lighter sense of the dark brown skin. I realized why my hand was wet, and it's because the condensation from the helmet is like literally dripping down on the side. I need to get like a sponge or something and put it right in front of my mouth. Jesus Christ, I didn't even realize that. Now, after that, there's almost no, he doesn't walk anywhere, he just appears in front of the dark elf in a nurse outfit, and it goes straight into it. No warm-up, like I said, they're getting every penny worth of it immediately. After that, flash for posterity. The village elder, the lolly, how you would say it, even though, like I said, just drawings, doesn't matter what you're into, do what you do. Go with God. Village elder, she essentially is trying to, her and the, quote, princess, she's the only character that I didn't really give a fuck about because I don't remember her all that much. Which is understandable given the fact that there's like 7 different people in this, and I can't for the life of me remember all of them. She's the only one I didn't remember though, so that's strange. The elder and the princess are both under the spell cast by the elder in a way to essentially make it to where they can get pregnant a lot faster by generating what an animal goes through when it gets into heat. She then casts it on herself and essentially creates a tally system between her and the princess to make it to where they can see how many times each one of them has finished the guy and themselves with 2 different tally markers on both of their bodies. Alright, saying which one has finished and how the other one has finished. If you're not knowing what I'm talking about, then you are probably not for what this channel is for. This is a grown-up channel, and I'm a grown-up. Jokes, people. We have them. After that, they see how many times they can finish a piece as they are trying to get impregnated. I don't know why I read that, because that is exactly what I just said in summarized. Now, a lot happens in this single episode. I'll talk a bit about that when we get to the final summary of it. But, as we go on to the next one, yes, I had to write it on the back of the page, which I haven't had to do in a long time. Now, the guy tries to escape by getting away from them and saying, hey, I just need some time to myself. Everybody calm the fuck down because I am exhausted. He goes into his house where he can get away from everybody to immediately see that 2 of the other people are naked and waiting. My man cannot catch a break, and he needs some juice or something, because he needs vitamins, he needs some energy. Jesus Christ, help this man. Both of them are the dark elves, even though that there are 3 dark elves, and one of them didn't have dark skin. I don't know what the qualification for dark elves is. Maybe do you get like a blood test when you're born? I don't know. 2 of them are essentially sitting there waiting. Guy gets laid twice in that one scene. It then moves on, because this was like a 1.5-minute scene. It does not give you time to do anything. It then moves on to the guy essentially going out for some fresh air, thinking like, I've spent all day with a whole bunch of different women. I'm gonna just chill out by a river. He then runs into the dark-skinned, long, purple-haired character who is trying to figure out how to get pregnant, but she prefers doing it by herself and not in a group of a whole bunch of different people. So she casts a spell that would give him vitality, Viagra-tality, if you don't catch the drift, and then makes an illusion spell on herself to make her seem more appealing, aka Professor's outfit. Now we're getting into the king. Now, after they don't have the, quote, impregnable form of sex, it is just, Jesus Christ. The next day, he wakes up and sees that there are more characters waiting for him, just lined up in a row. Breathing position, butts out, ass up, leaned up against something, waiting. Holy shit, this moves quickly. And finally ending, after he has his rumpus with every single character in that line, the rest of the fucking cast shows up and then demands more. Oh my god. Alright. I can't even eat my favorite food 7 times a day. I need to take a minute, do something else. Jesus Christ. Alright. All the other characters show up. He gets with every single one of them, and I'm assuming the season ends. I'm assuming it's where it ends, because I don't think they can go above that. Okay, let's get to the recap. Recap here. Alright. Animation. On par with the last one. 5 out of 10, serviceable, but very much divided into camera angles instead of actual animation that goes beyond. 5 out of 10, you gotta keep it there. Characters, I don't know if this is going above what the other one was, but this is also a 7 out of 10. Given the fact that I see every single one of them individually, and I remember each one individually, except for the white-haired princess chick, because I don't give a fuck about. I don't know why, I just don't. And that's a 7 out of 10, and content. How many sex scenes are in this singular episode? Holy fuck. Holy fuck. 9 out of 10 for the sheer number. The sheer number. I don't care if they're very similar in nature each time, but the sheer number fit into a 16-minute fucking video. Oh my god. Just oh my god. Overall, this averages out to a 7 out of 10. Very much recommend. And the series overall, I would definitely recommend. It is very much on the safer section of the whole thing, and with nothing too unchristian, if I could say. But I would definitely recommend it to everybody out there who is into this sort of thing. It's very much like a starting situation that would make people feel a little bit better about how they can tolerate certain amounts of categories. Overall, like I said, recommend it to everybody out there. Now, unfortunately, I have to go. Until the next video, I have been the Doctor. And remember, wash your hands, because there's still a fucking virus. Number 2, take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. Make sure that you're not overwhelmed. Think of the short term. The long term is scary. But, until next time, have a nice day. Wash your hands.